Hello students, today we will study chapter 3rd of our syllabus, that is machines. So what are machines? In our common experience we use many machines, like we use the simple machines like a knife, like a scissors, or a pulley, a wheelbarrow, a bicycle. So these are many kinds of simple machines which we use in our day-to-day life to make our jobs easier. Like a wrench, we studied in the last chapter, in the first chapter, that how in moment of forces wrench makes our work easier. So actually a machine helps us in many ways. So there are many functions and uses of simple machines. So today we will study those 4 functions, 4 ways in which the machines are helpful to us, and we will see that all these 4 points are included in the definition of machines. So we will not simply say that machine is something which makes our work easier. We will precisely write all the functions of a machine in the definition of machine. So first function is machine acts as a force multiplier. Now when we say force multiplier, it means we apply less effort, but machine overcomes heavier load which is much heavy than our effort applied. For example, a jack, it's a simple machine which is used to lift a car. A bar, which is a simply rod which is used to lift a heavy stone, or a spade which is used to turn the soil, or there are many kinds of pulleys which are used to lift heavy loads, a wheelbarrow. So all these examples are the examples of force multipliers. Force multipliers means which makes our work easier. Easier means less effort is needed to overcome a load. Secondly, a machine can help us in changing the point of application of effort to a convenient point. Now how it happens? Let's take some examples. Example of a bicycle. Now students, you all know that you use pedals to move the rear wheel of your bicycle, and that pedal is attached with a toothed wheel. That toothed wheel is also called gear. So that gear transfers the effort applied to the rear wheel. So you move the pedal with your foot, but with the help of that chain and toothed wheel system which are acting as a simple machine, the second wheel, that is the rear wheel of the bicycle, is moved. It means what our machine has helped us? It has helped us in moving, in shifting the point of application of effort to a convenient point. Rather than applying effort at the axle of the rear wheel, we are applying that effort at the pedal, which is very convenient to rotate with the feet. So second function becomes to change the direction of application of effort to a convenient direction. It is the third application. The second is to change the point of application of effort to a convenient point. Now coming to the third point, which I just said, that in changing the direction of effort to a convenient direction. Here we will take case of a single fixed pulley. Students, it's the same pulley which is used to take out water, which was used to take out water from the wells in earlier times, and nowadays also in some of the villages it's still being used. We are talking about this kind of a pulley where the effort is applied in the downward direction but the load is pulled up in the upward direction. So what this pulley is doing, it is changing the direction of application of effort to a convenient direction. Downward direction is much convenient than lifting the load up. Fourth advantage or fourth function of the machine is to help us in gaining speed in our work. So here this kind of machine is not a force multiplier, rather it is called a speed multiplier. So in case of a speed multiplier, we have to apply more effort than the load, but our work is speeded up. For example, imagine cutting a cloth or a paper without a scissors. It will take much time. Obviously with scissors we have to apply more effort, but without scissors our work becomes slow. So scissors help us to gain in speed. Similarly, the blade of a knife moves along by a small displacement of its handle. Here the effort is more than the load. This is the case where knife is used like this for chopping knife, right? So combining these 4 points, what will be the definition of a simple machine? It is a device by which we can either overcome a large resistive force or load at some point by applying a small force or effort at a convenient point. So first 3 points are covered up to this, and the last point, that is the gain in speed, is written over here, and in a desired direction, or by which we can obtain a gain in speed. So first 3 points up to this, and I repeat, a machine is a device by which we can either overcome a large resistive force, which is the load, at some point by applying a small force, that is effort, at a convenient point. 2 points are covered here, and in a desired direction, 3rd point, and the 4th point is, or machine is a device by which we can obtain a gain in speed. So you have seen that machine can be either a force multiplier or a speed multiplier, as well as it shifts the point of application of effort to a desired point, or it may also change the direction of application of effort to a desired direction. So these are all points included in this definition, and we have to learn this definition for the boards. Next is a note point that machine cannot be used as a force multiplier as well as speed multiplier simultaneously. So this point is to be noted. Any machine can either act as a force multiplier or act as a speed multiplier. Now students, there are some technical terms which we have already used in defining our simple machine. First is load. Load is a resistive force which is overcome by the machine. So it's also a force, but this force has been given a special name, that is called load. Effort, again a force, but it is a force which we apply on the machine to overcome that load. So it's also a force, but it is called effort, the force which we apply on the machine, and load is a force which machine applies on the load. Load means anything which is to be lifted up or which is to be moved. So it is generally called resistive or opposing force. Third is the term, it's a ratio of load and effort, that is called mechanical advantage of a machine. Now mechanical advantage can have 3 values. It can be greater than 1, it can be less than 1, or it can be equal to 1, right? So when a mechanical advantage of any simple machine is greater than 1, such a machine acts as a force multiplier. And when it is less than 1, then it acts as a speed multiplier. And when it is neither greater than nor less than, it is just equal to 1, means load becomes equal to effort. So in such a case, machine is simply used to change the direction of effort to a convenient direction. It neither gains speed nor gains force. So here the example is a simple single pulley, single fixed pulley, which the picture which I have shown you earlier. Then the other term related to machines is velocity ratio. Now velocity ratio is the ratio of velocity of effort to the velocity of load. It means how much displacement effort is doing per second divided by how much displacement load is doing per second. So in t time, if effort is displacing by dE and load is displacing by dL, then velocity ratio's formula becomes VE upon VL, that is dE upon dt divided by dL upon dt. This t will be cancelled out and you will be left with this ratio. So another definition of velocity ratio becomes, it is also defined as the ratio of the displacement of effort to the displacement of the load. Just like mechanical advantage, it can have 3 values. It can be less than 1, it can be more than 1, or it may be equal to 1. Now when it is less than 1, then machine acts as a speed multiplier, and when it is more than 1, then machine acts as a force multiplier. So these are the same things which we have studied in mechanical advantage. So both the quantities, if these are less than 1, then machine acts as a speed multiplier, and if they are greater than 1, then the machine acts as a force multiplier. And again, when velocity ratio becomes equal to 1, then such a machine is used to change the direction of effort. Next term, students, is work input. Work input means how much force you are applying on the machine and how much displacement that force is producing in that machine parts. That is a work input, work done by the effort. Next term is work output. So work output, obviously, as the name suggests, it is the work done by the machine on the load. It means it will be load into displacement made by the load. Next term, students, is efficiency. By the definition of efficiency, it means the ratio of work output upon work input. Means how much output is the machine giving you per unit input work which you do on the machine. And in 100%, in percentages, what you do, you just multiply it by 100%. Efficiency doesn't have any unit. Similarly, our mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, those are the ratios of the similar quantities. They also do not have any unit. Now the note point says us that due to friction and weight of the moving parts of the machine, its velocity ratio never changes. Means velocity ratio doesn't have any effect from the friction or the weight of the machine parts. But its mechanical advantage gets affected by these factors. So mechanical advantage decreases, and we will see that efficiency depends upon mechanical advantage as well as velocity ratio. So when the mechanical advantage decreases, efficiency also decreases, and this symbol is called eta. It is eta, a Greek symbol, just like alpha, beta and gamma. Now comes the principle of a machine. You may be asked in 2 marks, what is the principle of a simple machine? So, बच्चे, principle of the simple machine is that for any ideal machine, the input energy, the energy which you put on the machine, that is the work done by the effort on the machine, should be equal to the output energy, that is the work obtained at the load point from that machine. So our simple machines, in ideal case, it gives this principle that output energy should be equal to input energy. So in any practical machine, output energy can never be greater than input energy, right? And in any practical machine, due to the weight of the machine parts and the friction between the machine parts, output energy or output work is always less than the input energy. That's why the efficiency is always less than 1. And in the ideal cases, it may be equal, right? It can be equal in our assumptions, that if we assume there is no friction, there is no weight of the moving part, all the moving parts are weightless, frictionless, then we may say output work or output energy is equal to input work or input energy. In that case, machine's efficiency becomes 100% or equal to 1, but it can never be more than 1. Right? So in ideal case, efficiency is 100%. In actual machine, efficiency is always less. Why? Because there is some loss of energy. What are the factors of the loss of energy? Question can be asked. There are 3 reasons. Moving parts are not weightless, neither weightless nor frictionless nor smooth. The springs, means the threads or the ropes used in the machine, are not perfectly elastic. Different parts of the machine are not rigid. So the most prominent loss of energy in any machine is due to the force of friction between the moving parts. So the energy is lost in the form of heat in overcoming that friction. Then comes the question that if a machine is 80% efficient, what does it mean? And if this statement is given, machine is 80% efficient, what does it mean? Then its answer lies here. That it implies that 80% of the total energy supplied to the machine at the effort point is obtained as useful energy at the load point, and the remaining 20% supplied to it is lost in overcoming the friction or due to the weight of the moving parts. Students, the next topic is what is the relation between the efficiency MA and velocity ratio. So this comes as a 3-mark or 4-mark question that you have to establish this relation. So how do we establish this relation? It's very interesting and we'll be doing right now. For its derivation, we will suppose that there is a machine which overcomes a load of L amount by applying some effort of amount E in time t. And in doing so, the displacement made by effort becomes dE and displacement of the load is dL. Now student, by the definition of work input will be effort into displacement made by effort, that is E into dE. Work output will be load into displacement made by load, that is L into dL. And by the definition of efficiency, it is work output upon work input. Substituting these values, we will get this relation. And in this relation, we will do a little adjustments like this. L upon E will keep separate, multiplied by dL upon dE. Now, this dL we can write as the denominator of dE. In the denominator we can write dL, so we can write it 1 upon dE upon dL. Obviously dL comes in the numerator. So why we have done this? Because this ratio dE upon dL is actually velocity ratio, and this ratio L upon E is actually mechanical advantage. So I can substitute here mechanical advantage into 1 by velocity ratio, which becomes mechanical advantage upon velocity ratio. I can substitute here MA into 1 upon VR. So it becomes eta is equals to MA upon VR, and the relation can be written like this also, that mechanical advantage is velocity ratio into efficiency. So because we have studied in the note that mechanical advantage decreases due to friction, that's why efficiency decreases. For a machine of a particular design, velocity ratio can never change. Why? Because we cannot change the size of blades of a scissor. It means that the size of the blades of the scissor cannot be changed. What does it mean? It means that in a scissor like this, the blades move by the distance which is called displacement made by load, and the handle moves a distance which is called the displacement made by effort. Now these distances we can never change. It means that velocity ratio we can never change in any kind of machine. I hope the things are clear now. In the next video, we will study pulley system. Thank you so much.